So we've just had a panel there on tribes taking action was the sort of catchphrase for it. How's tribal gaming position on internet gaming evolved, do you think?
Well, this is my third gig, and the first panel that I moderated, it was no. The tribes were going, no, we're not going to do it. We're not interested in doing it, and we got to protect what we have. And then last year it was, yeah, maybe we'll think about it. And this year it's like, yes, we're doing it. So it's been a real radical evolution, very quick. But you're dealing with professionals who are really smart and understand this industry and understand the opportunities that are ahead of them. So not surprising, pleasantly surprised still though.
And do you think that's because the regulation has gone down this state-by-state pattern, or is there, as you said, is there still a pathway for a federal solution in tribal gaming?
It's state by state. There's just too many different views at this point on the federal solution, and it has to be something that's worked together with like other organizations, other trade groups, and stuff like that. Because the tribes can't go it alone. But if you look at what's happening in California, the tribes are firmly in the driver's seat and steering that negotiation, steering that dialogue. And that'll be the model for other tribes in other states too. So as usual, California is ahead of the game. So a little biased.
Yeah, and do you think California, obviously they don't need to because of the size of the place, but do you think tribes will look to make sort of state-to-state compacts?
I think that's eventual. It's like I said earlier. I think California initially wants to put up a wall so they can figure out how to do this and how to do it right. And once they start growing up against that wall, it has to come down. You know what I mean? Because there's only so many gamblers you're going to have in this state anyhow. 30 million people, I don't know how many gamblers that is, but professional gamblers, I don't know if they're going to come back from Costa Rica to gamble here too. So, I think eventually it's going to be done that way. I think it has to be done that way as it falls. And as for a business model and for business growth, you need to take care of that type of, you're going to need that player liquidity, and you're going to have to expand beyond your borders. And I think that's just... it's a matter of fact. I mean, you look at Europe and look at how the European Union has done this balkanization by country by country by country, and they have trouble communicating and stuff like that. So I don't think the tribes really want to go down that path, but you will see California coming out first, and then the rest of the tribes coming out behind them. So eventually, I think you will be looking at a federal solution, state to state. So I think that's just a matter of time. It just seems like common sense to me.
Sure, and. What's the issue exactly? Clarify it for me. What's the issue around server locations? Because I know that's a big thing.
Well, you listen to the tribal leaders up there. They're the ones who are going to be leading the negotiations. These proxy servers, everyone in legal I've talked to, they're not really that impressed with that as a solution. It really just has to be straight out online gaming. You know what I mean? Or you're putting a noose around your neck, and you're not going to be able to grow into that. A collar around your neck, you're not going to be able to grow. You're going to choke yourself, because that collar's too small. So I think does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. Also today we heard NIGC being mentioned a lot. What's their role in this transition to online gaming?
Well, like Jason said, they've been very reluctant to define the roles. I think that comes from the fact that the tribes are leading this, not the gaming commissioners, not the consultants, not the lawyers, but the tribes. So they're going to take their cue from the tribes. The tribes are going to say, this is what we're doing, and they're going to follow behind them, and they'll be regulated and stuff like that. So they're not jumping ahead of the tribes. Every time they jump ahead of the tribes, they get their head chopped off. And so I think they're taking a more cautious approach to regulating, but they will be there. Just if the tribes are involved, the NIGC will be involved also.
And just my final question there, looking at the delegates who are attending gigs this year, there's a large representation from the tribal gaming community. Is it important for you to be at an event like this, and do you feel that the right people are at this event so you can get the most out of the time?
This is one of the best conferences in the world, not just for Indian gaming, but for gaming period. The crew at Clarion has been consistent in putting quality subjects, quality speakers, and quality locations. So this is really, it's a must not miss. If you're missing this conference, then I don't really think you're serious about this industry, because this is the place to be. This is where the rubber meets the road, and these are the high-powered people. These aren't delegates, these aren't surrogates, these are the people in charge of making decision makers, the influencers. So this is the place to be, and that's why this is my third year, and I'll be back next year.